My name is Steve Peters, and I'm the founder of baseconsulting.co, an end-to-end supply chain management solutions provider based in the US.
Yeah, this is Paul Weedman, the owner of Victor Group. Our business is to be the eyes and ears of our customers, helping the supply chain in China. Yeah, I think even before our conversation, this is a very interesting topic about the VPN in China. Just at the very beginning, I was having to switch on my VPN to get access to Zoom even.
Yeah.
Then I forgot to switch off the VPN, which of course is not good for the video call. So now I get back to the normal status. That's why the video is better.
So there's no VPN on now. Then it's working
no VPN
perfectly.
Yeah.
The video is clear. The audio is clear.
Yeah. And if you are not living in China as a foreigner, it's very hard for you to understand because you just pull a file in a Google Drive or OneDrive, and then you just set your schedule for appointments through Google Meet. Well, this is not the norm here in China. And sometimes it's really very much frustrating, even for such communication.
Basic stuff.
Very basic things that you guys in the States.
So what is usually used like for organizing things and tracking, like a calendar? Is what's the tool that's usually used by teams in China?
There are different tools. Everything that you're using in the Western world, like Google or YouTube or whatever. There is another Chinese version in China. But when it comes to international communication, it becomes extremely difficult. There is no WhatsApp here. You guys use WhatsApp all the time for communication. Then even if we make an international call to the customers, in a lot of cases, it's taken as scamming. Because of this is the international number, right? So that's
or it shows up as a scam call or something. Yeah.
You can imagine as a foreigner, when they have already been used to the lifestyle in the United States, for example, then all of a sudden they get to China, they cannot get access to Google, to the Gmail, to Facebook, YouTube, and everything. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, for sure. Even the basic stuff makes everybody's life a little bit harder.
Yeah, every time when I come up with a new customers, I have to explain them again and again. Okay, get your VPN ready, and this is even illegal in China.
Yeah,
it's an illegal behavior to use a VPN. So I'm in a couple of organizations, kind of like NGOs. We tell all the members not to even use the keyword VPN in a group chat.
Right, the keywords, because they're looking out for those various words.
Yeah. Our big boss in Beijing, they use the AI. They can get the keywords and know who is doing something.
How many times
to them.
How many times you've been using it, all kinds of stuff.
No, as an international businessman, you basically have to use it every day. Of course, they are not really making trouble to you as long as you are not really against their authority. You do your own business, you make your own money, that's
business
fine.
As usual.
But But obviously, if you want to say something bad about our big master, then you can easily be in trouble.
Yeah. Of course. Let's get back to business.
This is also part of the business,
Of course, it's part of business. Yeah.
as an international buyer, must be aware. Otherwise, what
Yeah.
if you you get into China's territory? You don't want to be put in jail, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Let's go through all these questions. There's quite a bit here, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
It looks like
sure.
most
Yeah.
of them were answered, but maybe you can, clarify and expand a little bit. Um, so the first question was, do you see any struggles when it comes to manufacturers finding reliable carriers to help with import exports? I'm sure there's a very long answer for this, but uh, what kind of struggles do you see, like the top three or so?
Uh, the main challenge I'd say is like when you have a lot of options, that means you have no option. There are
Yeah,
too
right.
many for you to choose from.
That's a good
Then
way of putting it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's like in a big ocean, you have big and small fishes,
Right.
all kinds of fishes, right? In Chinese, we have a saying that 林子大了，什么鸟都有. That means
Hmm.
similar thing. In a big forest, you have all kinds of birds,
All kinds of
good birds
birds.
and
Yeah.
bad birds, right?
Right. Right.
And particularly in the Chinese business context, there are really a lot of suppliers for shipping services where
Hmm.
they will always give you a yes answer
Right.
whenever and whatever you ask them for a help on logistics, right?
Right. Right.
But actually, each shipping forwarder or each carrier, they have their strength and weakness. You can't expect
Hmm.
someone who mainly ship to the European market has the same strength as for the American shipping lines. And the
Right.
ones who deal with Latin America could be pretty much different. But
Right.
all these shipping forwarders, they cooperate with one another. So basically, everyone can offer you all the services if you don't try to weed out
Right.
the non-suitable ones.
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of due diligence. You may have to take some time to really to try out some of them, get good references, compare
Hmm.
their price and services.
Hmm.
And even if you look into the prices, that's a little bit tricky. In a lot of cases, these shipping forwarders, they try to attract you in taxi at a very low price at the beginning, but for the third time and fourth time, then you just are not where they have increased the price because these markets is very much complicated. When it goes to the peak season, it's hard to get the shipping space, and
Right.
the price is just skyrocketing.
Right. And so you said, trialing the freight forwarder or the logistics company, like what would be a good example of trialing them? Is it like giving them a small shipment first, before you kind of proceed with their full service? Or like what would be a good example of trialing them out?
I think when, particularly if you have various shipment, my suggestion is after selecting the most potential ones that you want to work with, but not just to work with one, maybe two or three,
Hmm.
compare with them their all their prices, services, lead times, etc. Within the same period of time, but it's there is no meaning if you compare, let's say in between January
Right.
and April, right? Because obviously January is what we call a kind of peak season, or maybe in October or November, that's also peak season before Christmas
Right.
for international shipping.
Right. And you were talking about references. Like what kind of references would be good examples of references? Because sometimes there'll be references that maybe aren't comprehensive. They don't actually have contact details. You know, as you've seen, like say on Alibaba, you'll see certificates or references that are kind of blurred out. Those are obvious red flags that you want to avoid. But um, what kind of references are good references? Like from their own clients or
I think from all possible sources, I'd say there are existing clients. Of course, is one of the sources that you can approach, particularly the one in your own country or own area, because that's the most similar to your business, to your market. And if you have other channels where you can get references from, it will definitely help you to understand whether or not they are the most suitable one to work with.
makes sense. I noticed one of the questions was about inner China, that the cities, the secondary cities are becoming more competitive as they move out
Mm-hmm.
of, Shenzhen and other kind of higher rent areas, higher cost areas. Um,
Yeah.
what cities do you think will take a pivotal role in manufacturing, inexpensive products in the next 10 years?
Uh, it's really
Like what are
hard to
key
say.
areas? Yeah.
It's really hard to say. It's a little bit different from 20 or 30 years ago about the manufacturing ecosystem in China, because back in that moment, most of the industrial areas are located in the major or central cities or the coastal areas, like in Shenzhen or
Right.
Shanghai,
For easy shipping.
or yes, for easy shipping. But over the past 5 to 10 years, because of the increasing of the labor cost, the land cost, and all the main element for manufacturing, uh, most of the industries are slowly moving either to the other countries, or from what I see, a big part of them are moving to the inland part of China. Uh, this relates to a little bit to the Chinese social structure and the relationship society. Uh, it moves across the whole country, I would say, but mostly neighboring their original manufacturing centers, like in Guangdong. They may move mostly to like Hunan or
Right.
Jiangxi or Guangxi, the business and manufacturing facilities in Shanghai area. They may be moved to like Henan or Anhui, or some other neighboring areas. But of course, in each provinces, which is similar to a state in the United States,
Yeah.
there are lots of different cities, different counties where they're used to focus on certain categories of product.
And so,
So
and China is pretty unique in that way that it has very good transportation infrastructure to be able to support these secondary cities for manufacturing, as opposed to some other countries that simply don't have the infrastructure for transporting goods from inner China to the ports,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean, it's kind
absolutely.
of like number one in that area of transportation infrastructure, which helps expand the their reach for manufacturing, right? Lower costs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think the infrastructure, the freeways, the high-speed rail, the airline systems are definitely a great value for moving these manufacturing facilities to the other part of the country. And recent years, I heard a lot of small cities where I've never heard about before.
Yeah.
For example, one of the city in the far northwest of China,
Mm.
it's called I think even don't remember the name. It's a small town in Xi'an where you have the 13 dynasties and the splendid tomb from Qin Shi Huang, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Interesting.
where they work together in the past 4 or 5 years with another very famous plush toy manufacturing center, Yangzhou,
Mm.
which is in
Yeah.
eastern part of China,
Hmm.
close to Shanghai. Then they moved most of the plush toy business from that coastal city to that small town in Xi'an, and it has become the capital of plush toy
Plus toys.
nowadays.
Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that. You said almost 1 million pieces
yeah,
of
yeah,
daily production, which is
yeah,
incredible,
and
that
yeah.
there's
Then
that many
another,
plush toys.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Another example is like in my hometown in Hunan, which is in the central south of China.
Mm.
In a small city of 600,000 people. Of course, not small for you guys, but for us, it is still small.
Yeah.
So we also have a lot of like the heavy equipment,
Mm.
machineries, and a PCB. Because the PCB is a very interesting industry, which is basically done by the people from my town. You know,
Mm.
everybody knows everybody. Then they moved the whole
Yeah.
industry
Right.
into the hometown. You know?
Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. So, you know, in terms of like a lot of different changes in the world right now, there's the war in the Middle East, Ukraine, other areas that have some issues, the UAW workers strike, you know. Um,
Yeah.
how do you see that affecting like supply chains, especially in China? Do you think the world's demand for products will decrease a lot in the next few years, or do you think it will increase um, with all these changes? And a lot of these things are costing a lot of money. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
war is very expensive. America, Europe, they're spending a lot of money. Aside from the political side of things, in terms of supply chain, how do you
Mm-hmm.
see that kind of changing in the next like 5 or 10 years?
Uh, yeah, that's a good question and a very complicated question.
Yeah.
But I think I can give my 2 cents from what I see over the past 10 months. I started traveling from Europe to the United States in January, actually from last year in December, and I did a massive travel in the U.S. and Latin America from the end of June to the beginning of August. I've been talking with a lot of experts and professionals in the global supply chain business, and I met a lot of customers as well.
Mm.
So one thing I realized is, no matter what, the world, the globe is still rotating. People are
Right.
doing whatever they have been doing all the time.
Of course.
Yeah. Even when, before the war in Ukraine, I was in Kiev, looking into all the the sacrifices, the soldiers who died from the battleground in the park. A lot of people are, were in the parks, in the plazas, memorizing these dead soldiers. But on the just 50 meters away, a lot of bars, people are drinking and dancing like nothing happened.
Life as usual.
Life
or
as
seeming
usual.
like it.
The same thing, of course, Russian invasion of Ukraine, or the fighting in Palestine, Israel, in other areas. They are getting a lot of attention for the people in the world, but the rest of the world, they're still taking a life. They're still buying, but obviously there is a very big decrease of buying power, either is in Europe or in the United States, who have come up with a bunch of customers who have been buying a lot before the end of the COVID, while the buying volume has been decreased so much from this year. And China is not an exception, with all this real estate bubble, with the small, staggering consumer buying power. The GDP growth has been down from like 8 to 4, half of what it was before. But when we talk about the supply chain, of course, there are a lot of buzz about reshoring or nearshoring, whatever you call it. Obviously, some of the manufacturing destination like Mexico, Vietnam, or India is slowly building parts of the supply chain or manufacturing facilities. However, I think it's going to take many years, if it's not decades, for the other alternatives to build the whole ecosystem for manufacturing. I was taking a taxi from Mexico City to another small one on the south, Cuernavaca, I think, about 80 kilometers away, across the mountain. It took me about 2 hours. I paid $90, which is used to be, if it's in China, you have a tunnel in the mountain that would take you only 10 to 15 minutes and cost you $5.
Right. Huge difference.
Yeah. What's even more terrible is that road goes all the way through the mountain, where you still see the rolling rocks from the slope, which is isolated with the plastic net.
So it's just a plastic net that's holding the rocks back, basically.
Yeah.
Protecting, supposedly.
Yeah. At that moment, I was thinking, what if I just catch a flood, or maybe just a heavy rain, that I could literally get stuck in the middle of nowhere for maybe half a day or even a whole day.
Yeah. You'd be stuck. That's the biggest. That's the biggest thing. Like that I saw in China was just the infrastructure is so good now, for moving things around, for traveling around the highways, high speed rail. everything has just become much easier to move things around, move people around. There's really no other country that has. I mean, Europe is pretty connected. You know, a train transportation is really good. But if you compare public transportation to, like, say, the U.S., or, you know, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Logistically, for moving products around in the U.S., it's very good. You know, but in terms
Yeah.
of people, public transportation's
No,
it's vastly
no,
different.
we're not even talking about the security issues,
Hmm.
uh, the corruptions. When I was in Mexico, I heard that the taxi drivers, they told me, okay, I just don't want to drive you to another city, because
Right,
they feel insecure.
right, right.
And
Security
also,
too.
what about the water shortage, the energies, and this all takes time to catch up. You know.
Yeah, yeah, a long time. Yeah, I mean, what about the tariffs and the trade war? I saw, you know, this has been going on. The trade war has been going on for years now, um, but nobody
Yeah,
really talks
yeah.
about it anymore. So, is there anything that's really being affected by this? Is it effective, uh, or what do you think?
I think obviously there is an impact on the supply chain, on the tariffs, and in my opinion, that's the main motivation for the building of manufacturing facilities in other areas of the world. Take Mexico as an example. We already discussed so many disadvantages of certain manufacturing facilities over there, but what I did see is there are a lot of investment going to Mexico, despite all these disadvantages for manufacturing.
Hmm.
Another interesting phenomenon is, a lot of companies and factories who are setting up in the other countries. They're from China. Of
Hmm.
course, there are a lot of international companies as well. But if you look into like a lot of cities in Mexico, like in Monterrey and Juarez, uh, you know, next to the U.S. Mexican border, are pretty much Chinese investment over there. Same for Vietnam. Of course, there is a proximity with in between Vietnam and China, and the similarity in culture as well. So if you go to North Vietnam, for example, you see a lot of Chinese presence over there, and many people in Vietnam even speak Chinese.
Right,
Are you
right.
there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, Vietnam is a very similar kind of culture. A lot of the same history and holidays too. You know, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I lost you for 1 or 2 minutes.
Oh, really? One or two
Yes,
minutes?
yes, at least
Wow,
one
you
minute, I think.
wow, because you just stopped talking like 5 seconds ago.
Ah, really?
Hmm.
Where are we?
The last I heard, when you were talking about Vietnam and
Yeah.
about how many people speak Chinese in Vietnam.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I think yeah. Then that means you heard all what I'm talking about, but I didn't hear you.
Okay.
It all got stuck.
Well, we are pretty far away from each other, so. considering the technological advancements, 20 years ago we couldn't do this. So pretty
Oh
impressive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And can't imagine how people do business. You have to use fax. I still had customers from New Zealand. They were requiring fax message when they have to
Oh,
go down to the stationery to send a
yeah,
fax because we don't
yeah.
have a fax machine.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, because I used to be in the promotional products industry, and there was a lot of kind of old school ways of doing business up until like just a few years ago. They would still send purchase orders by fax, like a few of the older
Yeah,
generation, and it was always really
in
interesting trying to
fact,
set up e-fax, to like receive the faxes because we didn't actually have a fax machine, so we have to like get a
yeah,
number, like all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, yeah. Even
but
in
an order is an
Germany,
order.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. In Germany, even nowadays, there are still a lot of old school people using
yeah,
fax, which everyone think Germany is a highly advanced in manufacturing, but you
right.
know,
And with payments too, I remember typically like most European companies don't want to use credit card to pay for like small orders. They want to do like just transfer. Whereas in the US, everybody use credit card for everything. You know, even up
yeah,
to like 20, $30,000.
yeah,
Putting it on their business
yeah.
credit card. Whereas like no, we never. Like it's just a totally different system. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I think that's in fact a very good topic, not only for our daily life, but also for what we talk about supply chain or traveling internationally. You know, the U.S. and China, I think, is pretty much fast to adopt new technologies,
yeah,
and Europe is becoming old uh, on this stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It doesn't like change as much. It
yeah,
doesn't. It's not
yeah,
as flexible on certain things, and that's a huge
yeah,
difference. Working with American clients versus European clients. There's always pros and
yeah,
cons, um, but yeah, it's very interesting the
yeah,
different
yeah.
differences in
Very,
every country.
yeah, very interesting. When I traveled in Europe, I go to the restaurant, have to wait for half an hour till the waiter come to me. Then you finish the food, and they take you another half an hour, maybe 1 hour for the waiter or waitress.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Well, in China or in Hong Kong, you just scan the QR code.
Yeah.
As soon as you enter the restaurant, you get the food within 5 minutes. Then
Yeah.
you
Super
just pay by
fast.
yourself and go.
Yeah. You don't need to talk to
Oh,
anybody. I mean, that's kind of the
yeah,
future. Like here in the US, most of the checkouts are self checkout. So you don't really need to talk to anybody anymore. Go
yeah,
in, go out.
yeah,
But that's kind of the
yeah.
future.
Then the thing is, as an European, for example, even Americans, when you travel to China, you got to be prepared to have your digital wallet, and
Right.
then your Apple wallet is not working, and you want to use your credit card. And a lot of restaurants may not even accept your credit card at all.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
you may not even be able to get a taxi if you don't have
Hmm.
a WeChat Pay or Alipay, right?
Right. Right.
Uh, yeah, Google Pay, no way, because
Yeah.
Google is blocked in China,
Right.
right? This
Right.
is a totally different world from the other part of the globe.